Okay, y'all, did anybody else grow up eating cobbler? I ate cobbler of all kinds. Mama would make cobbler with any kind of fruit, anything she picked out of anywhere. We would have a cobbler with it, y'all. So we're gonna make one today. So we're gonna start out by preheating our oven to 400, and then we're gonna put a stick of butter in our little pan, and we're gonna sit it over in the oven to let the pan get hot and that butter melt. Now, 8x8 pan would be ideal, but we're not gonna talk about what happened to my 8x8 pan, so we're gonna use this other little pan that I have. Alright, so while your butter is in the oven melting, you're going to go ahead and get your batter together. Now, we're going to add 1 cup of self-rising flour, and y'all, this is the easiest recipe. I guarantee you have the ingredients to make this. Maybe not the fruit that goes in it, but everything else you're going to have because it's that easy. 1 cup of self-rising flour, 1 cup of white sugar, and maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon. I just kind of sprinkle it over in there. Now, you don't have to add cinnamon if you don't want to. If you don't like cinnamon, don't put it in there. I actually have a friend that is allergic to cinnamon, so I have to be real careful. I can't even burn a cinnamon candle when she comes over, y'all. But, so if you don't want the cinnamon, don't put it in there. But it is good. So, you're just going to go ahead and get all your dry ingredients mixed up really good. And then we're going to add 1 cup of milk, and mine is just 2% milk. You can put whatever kind of milk you use in there. Any of it will work fine. So you're going to put that in there, and then we're going to put, again, y'all know I don't really measure some of my ingredients, so we're going to put roughly a teaspoon of vanilla over in there as well. And then we're just going to get that all good and mixed up. And when you mix this up, y'all, it's going to be a thin batter. It's actually even a little bit thinner than like pancake batter. It's pretty thin. And I'm going to show y'all see it in a minute. I'll pick it up with the whisk and let you kind of see. Because I didn't want y'all to get in here making this and think, well, Lord, my batter's too doggone thin and I ain't going to be able to use this. It ain't going to cook. But see how thin that is? It's super, super thin. But it's fine. That's the way you want it. It's going to work. I promise. So once you get your batter all mixed up, you're going to pull your melted butter out of the oven and be real careful with this. I mean, I probably don't need to tell y'all that because it's going to be hot, and you do not want to get splashed with some hot butter because y'all, it will, well, I mean, it'll burn like anything else, but it really will because then it's greasy and hard to get off. But anyway, so be very, very careful pouring your batter in there because like I said, your batter's pretty thin. It's going to want to come out of there real fast, and you don't want to splash butter all over yourself. So just go ahead, pour your batter in there. Do not mix it up. Don't touch it. We're not mixing nothing else from this point forward, y'all. You're just going to let your batter spread out under that, and you see where the butter, it just, you know, it goes up under the butter and it's fine. So the next thing we're going to do is I did drain the majority of the juice off of these peaches, but I did leave a little bit. I'm going to use that in a minute. But you just take a spoon because, again, you don't want to just dump and it go everywhere because we don't want to mix this. So you don't want to have to be digging peaches and moving them and all that. So just with a spoon, just real gently, put your peaches into your batter and just kind of spread them out as even as you can. And this is a large can of peaches. It's not like the regular size can. I don't know what the ounces are, and I done threw the can away, but anyway, it's a big can. And a lot of people will tell you, make sure, you know, it has to be in heavy syrup or it has to be this. I think that was in light syrup, y'all. I don't even know. I got it at the Dollar General last minute because I realized I didn't have no darn peaches. But anyway, it worked just fine. So then I took maybe 1/4 cup of the juice and just kind of poured it over the top, just, you know, for a little extra flavor. And like I said, mine was in, I think, light syrup or something, so it doesn't make any difference, y'all. You don't even have to pour that over there if you don't want to. So I was about to put it in the oven, and then I second-guessed myself, and I thought, you know, it might bubble over. So I got my little crusty cookie sheet, and I said, well, I ain't cleaning the oven tonight. So I went ahead and just put it on my cookie sheet, and then I popped it right back in the oven, and mine cooked for about an hour. Now check it after 45 minutes because everybody's oven is different, but mine cooked for about an hour. And you're going to see me checking this because, again, y'all, I've made this before, but I was like, man, that I hadn't made it in a while, and I thought, that's a lot of liquid. Like, it still looks pretty juicy, but clearly you can see the top is done. Even that part in the middle that looks light is done all the way through because I'm about to poke it. See there? It's done. It's all the same doneness. So I said, you know what? I'm going to let it sit here for a minute. And it was fine, y'all. If you've never made cobbler before, this is what it's supposed to look like in the middle. Now, that is not underdone. It's not gooey. That's the way a cobbler crust is supposed to look. It's supposed to have like some juicy, liquidy, middle to it. It's not runny at all. It's done. The crust is completely done, but it does have that juice on it. And y'all know I'm not supposed to use the M word. I'm not doing it. But anyway, I wanted to show y'all what it looked like before I added the final touch. So, of course, like Dolly Parton says in Steel Magnolias, you got to have some ice cream to cut the sweetness. So I had a little vanilla bean ice cream in the freezer, and I thought, let me throw a little scoop of that on there, and you can see it just melting down into that cobbler. Y'all, this stuff is so good. It's perfect, just for a late night snack, for a good dessert for everybody. Just give it a try.